Good morning. Um, okay, we're stumped. We're stumped. We've haven't started streaming an hour ago, but did not. Um, Trying to figure out some fun stuff, such as using my hair strands and and assigning them UV values, which is awesome. Because I mean this is like the holy grail, painting hair. Um, but it's challenging. It's really challenging. I have it working, but only on this version that I've set the UV position to. And then, so I've created two versions. The original hair is in the original position. And then my flat version that I've been able to capture the UV position from. And I should be able to take, because these have matching indices. They should have matching indices. In fact, let me just double check. 869. Oh, they don't. Okay, well, that's certainly different. And that could really explain it right there. So, okay. So why would it be different? Because this does merge distance. And these are mirrored, so they automatically get flattened and merged. And so they are different. Gotcha. Okay. Mm. Oh, there's an actual just straight up interpolate curves node. Fun. Um, okay, that explains it. So we actually don't have matching geometry. That was an assumption of mine. Because we lay it flat, but we actually initially have a mesh that has two sides, but when we lay it flat, we squish it down, and then those merge together during that operation. During the strand and interpolator. Um, Danger node. Does it work if I just do this instead? Look at that. So I do need this. Hmm. Okay. Unless we went in and changed this interpolator. Hmm. What we do is we split the hulls. And then in the strand interpolator, what we're receiving at this point turn off my original geo. So we have our initial one, duplicate the elements, we have all these points. All right, let's hide this. Put our hair testing one. Testing geo. Okay. So in here, let's make sure we're using our newest one. Which is currently broken because I'm using the viewer. I have a viewer node in here. Maybe that's not the only reason. The other reason is because I've totally split this up. Okay. There we go. So we'll come back to that. Try to transfer in those attributes. But what I want to do is go into my strand interpolator. And make a second version. I'll also use that here. Safeguard it, go in, and let's just clarify what we want in. What we get in is a bunch of mesh ribbons like this. They look like this. We got a bunch of mesh ribbons. What we want to do is for each one of these, or let me clarify. What we're doing right now is we're taking each of them and scaling them thinner and thinner until we get our individual strands, and then we just delete the edges. Delete the horizontal edges to get our strands, which is not a bad way to do it. It works pretty well. But the problem is, when I'm using this, I use this merge distance node, and we want to get rid of this. This is bad because it's preventing me from doing other stuff. We would like to do away with this node. Clarify that what happens here is we take a duplicate. For each duplicate, we scale it based on the amount, duplicate amount. Now I have this all backed up. I think I'm just going to start from scratch on it, because I have it backed up. It's going to be a little bit hard to go in and just like figure out exactly how I had everything set up. What's nice about my current system is that it's agnostic to direction. Just takes each ribbon, shrinks it, and we get a bunch of strands. Very evenly spaced strands, importantly. What exactly is the merge being used for then? Is it only the middle one? it's only the one at the very, very center that we're merging. I'm pretty sure. So if I get rid of this. No, it looks like each section. Or, sorry, let me pass this over here. Take scale elements, pass it over, we get that. Interesting. These are just the original edges that we're deleting columns out of, or not the columns. Scale these elements. That's how we're evenly doing it, scaling them. I could try. What else can I try? I don't want to start on one side or the other, because then we're trying to create a direction. I mean, that's not bad though. So we could try instead of shrinking them, we take one edge and we just duplicate it and move it along the surface, basically. Again, I need to do this. But I have to choose which edge. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I just need... It's arbitrary. But I know that you have each chunk. Doing this for each chunk. Let's say the amount of duplicates. Let's say we pull out our geo. What we're going to do right away is just delete the geometry. Very good. Let's move it over here. Got it. Right away. Take it, delete it. Put my view here so I can actually see what's going on. Cool. So we get those are those edges. I don't want those. I want Boolean math not. Okay. So now I have these two edges. what we'll do take the mesh island, because we should have two for each of these. Oh. Hmm. Challenging. Challenging. Again, we have these two curves. I'd like to take one side and just move it towards the other one. Let's just start with that. So I know I need to set the position. Which one? I want the statistic x compare just say if I move this, I'm moving all of them except that middle point. Why would that be? Oh, because I dropped in the index. Okay. Good. Okay. So now let's put in island named attribute. We have our island index. That way I can select individual islands. So now we have that selection. And we want to do Boolean map. We want to compare the mesh island There should only be but no, because I don't know what island, because the mesh island index is going to include all of these. Shift spacebar D. Going to include all of these. We don't want all of them. We want just this one, or actually specifically just one of them in all of these. So I think we'll need a repeat node. Repeat zone. So we need to take in the geometry. Not quite like that. So before we do the repeat, we'll just focus on one and we'll separate it. Separate that geometry. Or no. We will delete the geometry based on the index. Nope. On the named attribute, our island index. That's the important one. There we go. Now we're just left with one. Okay. Now that we've done that, then we delete one of the sides. And then we want to move whichever island index is 0. Cool. So now we can move just one of them. Good. All right. And then we'll do a Boolean map. And we're going to take whatever index that is and get the other one. This allows us to select the other chunk of geometry. And we want to move it towards the other one. Just want to move it towards that other edge. If I capture the attribute of the geometry, specifically the position, no, we'll have to store. We'll have to do a store named attribute because I want not this one. Oh, that seems overly complicated. So we'll want to separate the geometry. Again, I don't know why I got rid of the not. This one. So now we separated it. We have two chunkarinos. This one still needs to go over here. But now we have our other island, our other island. And we want to take, oh no, this is perfect. Separate, selection inverted. Just do separate. The inverted is this one or no? Okay, if I just do this. Okay. Good. Okay, that's much simpler. Our selection is that one. And our inverted one, we'd like to capture the attribute. And then we'll do a join here at the end. Join them back together at the end. But we do want to capture the attribute, specifically vector position. And if I just set this here, nothing happens. Great. This is the exact same problem I was having at the start that set me on this whole journey. How do I take two chunks of mesh that have the same indices and transfer those values based on the indices. I want to just go, I have a list here. That's one. But I have a list of 6 on this side with these positions. And I have a list of 6 on this side with these positions. How do I blend those? Right now I'm trying to capture it. And like send it over. Oh, that actually might have been messing it up right there. Oh, okay. Yes, that should work. See, so it is working as I would expect. God, so that's annoying. All right. Well, that's cool though, because now what we can do is simply scale this. So if I get a vector math, I drop it on here, and we set it to scale. Now I should be able to adjust it. Oh, no, I'm not transferring it. See? I just crush it. I send it all to 0. Darn. I was hoping they overlapped, but they don't. What's if I put it into the offset? Nothing. This is just sending out 0. Useless. Let's see. Blender 4.1. Recreate. Transfer attribute by index simply became sample index. Sample index. Should be a vector. Sampling index position. There we go. That's what I was missing. This node. Awesome. Okay. Very good stuff. And that gives me deep insight into what I need to solve next. But now we can do the fun thing, which is vector math. Bam. And I should just be able to scale it. Okay, not quite what I thought. Because I'm not scaling what I think I'm scaling. I need to mix the vector, this one, and then capture attribute the position as well as this one. Now I can slide between the two. Awesome. Okay. And this is great because I need to make quite a few. I need to make, based on the strand amount, I need to make X amount between them, -2. Well, actually, Hmm. I think I still will delete one side. Because that way, when all the meshes are together, should allow me to, yeah, doesn't matter right now. Okay. We're almost there. Because now I need to use the repeat node. Is what we'll do. Hello, hot Russian woman. What are you up to, creator? We're making hair strands, but in a complicated way, or hopefully getting less complicated. We'll see. I'm gonna make some coffee. I'll be right back once it starts. See, is it something that is not possible to make with Unity's constraints? No, this is very much a Blender-oriented system. But the goal, I can't really show you right now because I've kind of pulled things apart. Actually, I might be able to show you with one of them. Give a layout. And Einstein should still work, so maybe not. Yeah, we're kind of in the process of making new hair. Fortunately, it's all getting chopped up right now. But basically, we're making the hair system. So I want to take a mesh and make hair strands for it and be able to bake those hair strands to UVs and control them. And right now we're setting it up. I had to go back and tweak things in order to transfer to take a UV map from the mesh so you can paint a hand paint a texture onto the geometry the strands are generated from, and then that texture will show up. So that's what we're trying to do now, but it ended up being a lot more complicated than I initially expected, but I think it would be a really killer feature, so I feel that I have to do it. I just have to do it. So quality of life plugin. Yeah, like you could think of it like an add-on or something. Okay, so what do I need and what don't I need? I don't think I need this bottom chunk here. This can just go away and get deleted. But I do want to take the geometry. It's actually pretty simple. Go in here, take our geometry, we take, don't want that. I just want this one. Should be its own thing. It's great. Take it here. I see. Hopefully it'll be used by the right people. I suppose so. Definitely will take a little bit to show people. Iteration 0. Here we take this and we'll take our input. Strand amount is how many times we're going to go through this. I think. And each time we go through, we take our value. It's all squished. We want to make an output. Or I guess it does it on both sides. Boom. And this will be a integer, which we'll call count. And all we really do for count is add it with 1. Add 1 to it. So that way we can know what iteration we're on. We can tell what iteration we're on. We'll start at 0. A lot of tools nowadays get misused. You know, like AI voice could be a great thing used by YouTube Shorts creators for brain rot. That's just how it goes. I mean, no one's been upset at books, even though 99% of all books are just garbage. I think it's just the nature of scale. The nature of scale. Now I need this here. So we want to adjust the factor. If I make a few iterations here, so if the more iterations I add, or let's do this by hand at first. I can add more strands, perfect. But for each amount of strands, how many I'm going to make, so let's say 1, 2, 3. I want to position it. I want to change the factor for it based on the total. So if there should be 6, then I need factor of 0 to 1 divided by 6. So I think we just take this, divide, not a vector, really should not have come out as a vector. Yeah. And divide, take 1, and we divide it by 6, and this is the factor for that. I suppose it should actually be that's just going to give 1 value. So this is how much it should move each time, and then we multiply that Ori, morning. Been working on my hair first myself this morning, though much different style. Exciting. Making hair with GeoNodes. We're still in the in the intense part of this, but we made some really interesting progress. I realized I can make because it's all you make the hair from geometry. It is possible to transfer the UV map to the hair, um, but in order to do that, I had to go back to kind of not the beginning, but deep into the system I already made, and I have to retrofit it. So do some changes. Right now, what we do is we have two strands here, and we're trying to make mini strands in between them. So technically there's two. You can only see one right now. You can see me slide between the two. And so we're going to be trying to make a bunch between these 2 points, because that's how we're going to make our individual strands. And so what happens is right here, we've got our count total, and we change it to a factor. So we have 1 divided by that amount. So this is the increment. Increment. And it needs to change this factor for each time it goes through. So I think we just take the increment and we multiply it based on the count. Oops. Multiply. By the count. This value. Perfect. Nice. So if we have, let's just say 3 strands, let's go to 0. 1, there's 1, now there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you want, except negative amounts. There we go. That is much better than what I had much earlier. Not quite right, though. By over here and took this. Did twice? Why is there? I guess it's already starting the other side, because the count starts at 1. No, that's exactly what I want right there. Bam. Perfect. Okay. And now, oh, I hate how this gets laid out sometimes. Now that we've done that, we actually have multiple strands. So I want to swap this value with input strand amount. So now I can adjust it here, which is good. But we are missing some of our strands. Right down here, we deleted based on the island index. We do want to do. We want to loop through this. For as many islands we have, we'll want to do this and then join them all together. So we'll have to do another kind of loop repeat here. Yeah. You want this. Yeah. Separate it. Take that island. We make a bunch of little mini islands. And out pops that. So this is what we want to encapsulate right here. And we can actually go back and delete all this. So now we've got our strand. Interpolator V3. And we can see it working. It's good. It's very good. And we'll just need to go in, tell it, hey, you are looking at the strand amount right here. Let me turn off the other duplicates so we can just see just this one in action. A little cluttered in here, but we know it's working. I'll clean it up some of the time. Actually, we can go ahead and just get rid of this. Okay. And so now we want to loop through this. So we get another repeat node. And we're going to go through it based on the island index. Yeah, based on the island index, we get the statistic. We get the pick our statistic, our attribute here. What we want is the maximum, this is how many times we're going to go through it. And what we do is we compare the count to the island index. So on our node, we'll also need another integer for count. So at count 0, we're at index 0, and we simply compare. Does it equal? We'll do integer. Does the count equal the index? And then we take the count, we add, and we also take this geometry and we join this together with the thing we're making. So now we can do each chunk almost perfect. Why is this one this way? It's this way because initially we delete one strand, but this one, both strands must have survived and it's interpolating with 0. So that's something in the strand interpolator. And here we need to figure out when we separate here. Separate. Separate the geometry. Delete. Yeah, we delete the middles, which is definitely something we want to do. And then we separate. We separate based on the island index. We're looking at the hair geometry though. That should work because for them to stay connected would mean that one of these middle edges would have had to survive. That's the only way for them to maintain this connection. So if I look at it here, it's a little weird with the repeat node. It's a little harder to get in there. But separate. Let's just say compare, and we separate if it's 0. No, that didn't help. No, equals 0. But here they're both still connected. Not going to be able to see with the repeat node. Mesh island. Feeding. I'm not even clicking that. Found strands, but we do have island, and I'm literally not clicking that. Holy shit. Holy shit. But maybe it is there. Okay, let's deconnect this. And we're going to no, we still need the max attached. No, we don't. Let me back up a second. I'm going to cut these, duplicate this one, drag it over here and here. Plug it in right there. What we're trying to do is delete the geometry based off the island index if it equals So remember, aha. Interesting. So 0, it's not that it's getting repeated, it's just that something's getting pulled through. So there are these extra strands here. Because we're deleting the geometry if it equals. We don't want it. We want to delete the geometry if it is not equal to this island. Now we're indexing through properly. Okay. So that's what we're missing. This needs to be right here. So if it does not equal that island, delete. There we go. Seems clear. Then we cut this. Drop this in here and do that. Okay. All right, so still a little bit off though. Why is that? We have the max. Should probably be max plus 1. Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, the whole point for that was because I had a merge distance node in my prior version of this. And it just messed everything up, which is so sad. Okay, cool. Got it working. So now go up. And we can switch back to our chunk hair that we've been working on. Oh, balls. I think this must be because they're looping. I think they go like this. They loop around. Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise. Hello, Ariso. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. That means I just need to clean up my geometry a little bit better. We got our split halls. And we're going to delete some geometry. We're going to delete some faces if they equal. How's my fave artist doing? You sleep well? I did sleep pretty well. Sleep pretty well. Dreaming about hair geometry nodes. um, if this equals 1, we delete it. And then we want to do a Boolean math here, or this. Okay. What is happening? Let's just dissolve this. Save, and we'll go back to our test here, because I know how this is happening, or I know what must be happening here. I'm glad. I've kind of fixed up my sleep schedule, so chances are my productivity will go up. My laziness, or is it? I suppose it's just how it goes. Need to do this. Go over here and extrude. Oh. Really? Okay. Did I mess up my split hulls more? Or is my uh, we're not using this stuff down here. So cut that, so I'm not looking at it. We do split the hulls, and then we send it into our strand interpolator. That's all working fine. And we get just one point here. So yeah, back to my strand interpolator. We are getting one on the corners. It's too bright. It's too bright. Also, I really love this kind of work, but also I hate it. It's like I like it, but man, it just really is a struggle sometimes. Oh yeah. How so? It's just like you're like, oh, I almost did it. Oh wait, now there's some other weird little bug. Oh wait, oh, I almost did it. Oh no, a bug. It's like it's all solvable. I feel confident in my ability to solve these things, but it is a struggle. It's a struggle. Maybe it's bugged. Sometimes that happens. That me so much when I was a web developer and a programmer in general. Why would it only be one side? Doesn't seem right. Hmm. It's not the strand interpolator. It must be how we're splitting it now. So we'll go in here. Make a V2 of this one. Let's see. If I select the tip, perfect. If I select the root, perfect. If I select them both and delete the face, no change. upload. Something about oh, okay. We must not be splitting the edges anymore. That's what's going on. Okay. So in here, I probably had a split edges node on the other side. So now I need to go in here and we'll just split it inside. Split edges. Bam. And we want to use the named attribute that's literally right in here. That's column right here. And we want to split it based on that. Interesting. Say compare integer Boolean. It's already a Boolean, so it should just work. We're saving it on the edges. Does it look like right here? Question, Sam, what do you think of AIs getting on the 3D field? For example, an AI that generates a 3D model of a character, or even more specific with my topic interest, AI that automates weight paint or UV unwrapping. I certainly have no problem with a tool. I don't have a problem with tools. It's the two things. First is, if the work is based off, if the AI is based off work people have done, that should be licensed. Like that is what copyright's for. If I took someone's book and I pulled in bits and pieces out of it, that's licenses are very important. So I have no problem with people making AIs that make money as long as that money goes back to the people that made the AI, and it's not just the algorithm that makes the AI. So that's the first thing. And second, yeah, it's just tools. So especially if it can help me speed up like UV unwrapping, weight painting, awesome. Right now, the quality of the AI generations would probably be good for like very simple static things. I think if you needed like a table full of food items, I think it'd probably be really good at that. But to make a character, I don't think it'll be there in the next 2 years, because it's just it's not controllable enough. They don't have that level of artistic direction that you require, I would say. Remember the commission I had at Fiverr required me to upscale a texture because it looked way too pixelated with AI? It would have been done in a few minutes. In fact, I think my client wouldn't have required my help to begin with. Sort of. Yes and no. I don't think there's going to be a point where AI just immediately replaces everything, because first, it takes a while for knowledge to disseminate, or diffuse, probably less a weird word. But so it's like, even if the greatest tool came out tomorrow, it still takes time for it to spread through society. I'm pro AI 100%. I'm the kind of person who believes that the people who are going to lose their jobs, the ones who refuse to use AI as a supplementary part of their job. Certainly, it will be very important. I don't think human jobs go away. I mean, you can look at society and see hundreds of examples of people that make a very good living doing things that technology solved a long time ago. So I don't think that's how we determine value as a society. It's a big part of the general trend of value, and labor and things like that. But like, there are definitely people who make a shit ton of money selling hand-woven baskets. Like, that's just how it goes. or handmade clothing and stuff. Like the uniqueness, the rarity of it is a value unto itself. Agree with you. Like an AI replacing you, not going to happen. A person that knows how to use AI and produce more stuff in less time, perhaps. Yeah, I think certainly people, the pace of progress will speed up. I mean, like right now, just having an AI that could go in and just test, like, oh, why isn't this thing getting selected? Like having a little helper would be awesome. Um, interesting. Only specific faces that it's holding on to. I'm going to restart this file really quick. Huh. Okay, so it's got to be something about the split hulls here. My selection, the shortest edge path. Zero, one. I should be able to select those edges. Because splitting it clearly is fixing it. Oh, that's interesting. Goes down there. Why would it do that? Okay, something about that does have to be related to my stream. BRB sounds good. Can't watch stream for too long. Oh, that's totally fine. I'll be back. Sorry, can't wait for stream too long. I have stuff to do here in the house. Food and preparing for a big party. Oh, good. Well, I hope you have a good party. Always good to have people over. Do fun things. I'm in B9. I don't think it's this. It's gotta be the split hulls because it's just not splitting them properly, which means it's not finding them correctly, which go to weight paint just to visualize this root tip. That's what I would expect. Okay, and is that what the geometry nodes is getting? Root tip. Okay. I think I should just switch these to a float rather than plugging in the name. You could just give it a float. Then you could select at any point like these ones. Yeah, I really should go back and do that. Place vertex groups. Names. With floats. Let me go back to my strand interpolator. Put my viewer here. And what happens when I extrude this? Dog whining. Annoying. Isn't getting rid of these? That would be the first step, I think, to make sure that my islands that are 1, 1, we go back to the split hulls. These faces in here should be automatically deleted. So we get our attributes. We're going to delete the geometry. Later on, I might separate that, use it as a interpolation surface, but it doesn't matter right now. If lead the face. Okay, because just these tops and bottoms are set to 1. If they equal 1, get rid of them. Then we can pass that along. Okay, delete that and delete the bottom. I rip the edge. Nothing. But if I rip this edge, then we get something. Which is interesting. So it must be the mesh island selection, because it's looking at this and it's going 1 island, island number 1. But once they're split, they're fine. So that's definitely can't be my interpolator. It has to be how the edges are getting split in this section right here. When we split these edges, actually, should split those edges based on columns we have right here. And it should be here and here and here and here and here. All the vertical edges should be getting split. Not. This wouldn't be working anymore. Edge path 2 selection, shortest edge path, corners of edge, edges of corner. That'll be this one. It has to be the same thing. Do this. Bam. I like want to take the time to visualize it, but I am visualizing it. There we go. True, 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 true. False, 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 false. Oh. It's true from here to here, so that's good to see because that means that when we split it, see that a second ago. Okay, there we go. So I just put an attribute directly. I mean, that's right. It's not going to split the ones in the middle. Maybe we need to switch what's getting saved. Points now. Edges, bases, corner. Edges is the only thing that makes sense because we're splitting the edges. What happens if I do a Boolean math? Boolean math. Not. Split. Is there any other split? Rip. Edge. Split edges. It's weird because it's definitely correct. That's the issue, is the island. Oh. Oh, okay, okay. That's it right there. That's the issue. We are splitting it, but in our attributes, when we create the island index, we can't do it here. We have to do it downstream. We have to do it in here. This is when we add the attribute. Yep. Okay. That makes sense because they are getting split, but it's still looking for that index, and the index is still saying that it's one whole thing. Okay, which means we're good. We're good. I think. Well, now, moment of truth, go back to the punk mohawk. Look at it. It's a little weird. But I did turn off the duplicates, I think. Yeah, now it looks like this. Which is pretty expected. No, it's not right. Should not be, we should not be seeing these bigger chunks here. Okay, so back to our test again. And turn off this one, AirGeo. AirGeo. Like that, delete it. Extrude it. We get this, okay. Get this uneven, and it's flipping back and forth. So that's definitely the strand interpolator. Just gonna go back to split hulls really quick, look at it. Yeah, okay, so it is definitely deleting the top and bottom. Yeah. But once we're actually making the strands, it seems to get caught on, I think it might be deleting too much, because this one's fine, this side's fine, but once it reaches a certain point, it's trying to interpolate with less. It's doing this. Okay, that's no good. Which I don't think this is the issue. It's most likely these. Because I'm deleting points, but I'm deleting faces. Edges. Doesn't make a difference. But we're taking the index, deleting everything else. So it can't be in here. It has to be in lower level. Strand interpolator v2. Strand. I mean, it's interpolator. Yeah. Think of a different name for that, but that is the right name. Mask column. Deleting edges. Deleting points. Wow, that's kind of cool, actually. Edges. And wait, we delete and then we separate? What are we deleting here? We're deleting. Yeah, let's frame that. So this deletes horizontal edges. At least that's what we're hoping it's doing. Okay. And it gets one edge. Oh, here. This. This is separating just on the 0 island. they're also not just getting scaled. They are starting here and ending here. So that's definitely broken. That means that they're going all the way down and then back up. That's bizarre. Bizarre. That's bizarre. Now we are sampling between these different selections. Index. No. Mesh. Index. It's changing. It's changing it. Isn't it illegal to produce witchcraft? What are those nodes? They're driving me insane. Insano nodes, that's what. I'm gonna get rid of this so we can just do one at a time. Interesting. No, it's not just starting off incorrect. Okay, so I'm gonna start at 0. An idea what to do, but how IDK, I've never used GeoNodes nor learned them. You know how to make fishnets with GeoNodes. I don't like the wireframe modifier because it makes it impossible to unwrap it and adds a lot of unnecessary topology. I think there's a, if you look up fishnets GeoNodes, I believe there is a tutorial on it online on how to do something like that. But it has to be the geometry that is getting improperly sent. So this is fine. But what we're sending there is incorrect. We're separating based on the mesh island, but the meshes are not getting separated, are they? If I go here, I want to do a manual count. Oh. That's really weird. Okay, you know what? And I take that back. It is in here. It has to be our positioning here. You can see it does this. Zoom, zoom. Why would it do that? Because these vectors are weird. The position is weird. Why is my furniture floating? What did you do? I cast a spell. Perhaps it's this vector mix. Uniform, non-uniform. I see. Oh, yeah. No. Set the position. It is going between them. But it's weird that it... So if I do that again, we do this factor. Why would it go up and down? Because the indexes are flipping. Okay. The indexes are flipped. So the strand is literally flipping like this. The end is going like that. Okay. Which means that it has to be this index node that's messing it up. But we do need the index. I should have gotten it. What's going on? I should have... Oh yeah, the factor. Here, should have been like that. Okay. There we go. Currently working on a project. Would love to hear how your GeoNode hair system works when I'm not preoccupied. It's a bit hairy. But generally, you just make a chunk of mesh, and you tell it the tip and root, and then it makes hair strands from beginning to end. And that's the general idea, is that it does that. But there's a lot of other benefits by using meshes. So you can give it vertex colors. Right now I'm trying to set it up so that it can use the UV colors as well, which I think is super exciting. And then you can also use physics because it's attached to the clump of hair that you're making. So a lot of good stuff, I would say. Yeah, actually I made a whole list. Use physics. You can set it up for UV baking really easily. Modeling is a normal way to work in 3D software. Why do we have this weird groom system? You can do full material attributes. You can use it with all the other geometry node systems, hair systems that already exist. And not only that, you can use vertex groups to then control those other attributes, other hair node assets that come with Blender. What we're going to do is take a subtract. And we'll take the maximum, plug in the index, and plug that in. We want to flip the index. We want to flip it. We would like because right now it's just going to 0. Scaling up. It's going to 0. Or just some random point. Mix node. That's really the main culprit. Or is it the sample? Is it the set position? Is it the vector mix? Or is it the sample index that's the issue here? Vector mix should be fine. It should just blend between two values. So that, not as worried about. The sample index, definitely most likely. Correct. Sample ugh. But if I want, because I know it's just flipping. It's just flipping here. So what I want to do is each segment. Oh, why don't we just say set ID on the geometry like that, and then give it the index. That doesn't change anything. Set index switch. Not what I want. Not what I thought it was. Okay, but if I have a set of indexes, and I know that it's just flipping 1 to 1, is called inverted. It's interesting that it's called inverted rather than like unselected. Wouldn't imply that it's literally getting inverted. So take this and do not. And then at this, duplicate it, feed the same geometry into it, put in this selection, but grab the other side. Okay, not the issue. All right. So we have a range of 0 to infinity on index. I want to start at the end and go backwards in terms of giving it the index I want. So we have our index. We think we want to take the maximum value, which here, so grab that geometry, take the maximum, and we subtract from it the index. And that's what we plug into here. I'm thinking we need to add or subtract 1 right here. Not a single one of them looks correct. So this node must not be what I need. Okay, which means we're kind of back to square one with working on this. working right. That one seems to work fine. It's just blending two vectors. Between them. Blend between two vectors. Vector mix. That can't be. That really can't be the issue there. Okay. So now we have our piece of geometry. We have one side, the other side. We've separated them. I want to take one of the edges, move it to the other one. I know it's possible to
In this video, we will look at the possibility of subdivision modeling using geometry nodes. You can get a smooth result. To make a node, we will select and adjust this loop. Add position with the subdivision surface applied.
It's not useful at all. It's not useful at all. There was a post I saw that went exactly over this. Blender, GeoNode, move, vertice, blah.
Edit mode.
All manual stuff, not GeoNodes. The edge vertices node outputs the position and index of the two vertices of each of a mesh's edge. So I can set position. Just say compare equal. Not quite. So I need to be able to, let me leave that out. But edge, split edges, edge vertices. What I have. Edge neighbors, corners of an edge. Interesting. So these are already totally disordered. So maybe that's what needs to happen. Like these are not ordered in any way. All right, see, we can see that this top one is one of our edge segments. Well, let's be a little, let's put my viewer here. So from 0 to the end, these totally just shift around in order. We've got this one up at top. This is actually the highest one right here. And then, no, sorry, this would be the lowest one. And then this would be the highest one. And they're just totally disordered. Okay, that's good. That's actually good. Because that means that I could probably use what I had before, which was a sample index. But what needs to happen is that we get the index order correct before I try sampling them. Which I thought I had been doing in the past in my there was a point where I was doing that. Mesh strands to curve. Spline, sort elements. So can I sort these elements here? I go in here, or I begin trying to make them line up, I sort them. Based on a named attribute. Let's say root. Now they are still totally unorganized. Okay. Actually, I may be looking at this wrong. Let me take my geometry. I'm going to rotate it. That way, it's a little bit clearer which one is which. Darn. Okay. so close. We can see each segment here. It's still totally disordered. That's the sort weight. Rid of that. Still not great. I'm going to get rid of this again. Go back up. Go up again. We're going to go to split halls. And I would like to sort elements here based off the cost of this edge. Still, that's nothing. It's actually just doing nothing. Assume that's what it means, but that should at least do something. Let's Blender GeoNode sort. Sort element nodes rearranges geometry elements by changing their indices. Selection sort. Elements of the same group ID are sorted together. That could be pretty useful. No, at that point, I've already cut it up. It's its own island. Shouldn't really matter. I'd love to be able to sort by height, but that's not possible. But I do have direction. I know from the bottom to the tip what it should be. The sorted values used to do the reordering. If this is not a field, the node has no effect. So something has to be plugged into the sort. Wait. It actually just doesn't even do anything if there's nothing in there. So we'll do that. We'll add our named attribute root. Okay. Problem with doing this here is it's reorganizing the whole enchilada. That's not very useful. So we will do that again. And we need to do it after we split the edges. Not just after we split the edges, after we make the island index. Because that way we can do the island index in order to do that. Index, we use it right away. And then we use the named attribute root, do that reordering. But we can see that it is not working properly. This negative 0.024 they should all be grouped by, should basically see them grouped by this. So we undo that. But how about our Oh yeah, we're so close to getting this working properly. So I could keep trying to do it this way of using the set position node, or specifically using the sample index node. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. But I know that there is a way for me to make a similar selection with the edges and then move these along the edge like this. So instead of this, let's go up. We're gonna make a backup copy. I'm gonna go to the restroom and then we'll continue. Grand V3 before. All right, I'm gonna go to the restroom. I'll be back. All right, I'm back, everyone. Hello. Back into the doldrums. So, here's what we're going to do. I think the game plan is this. We select one edge and we delete these vertical ones. No, I need those. That's so tough. You know what? Let's actually do the hair. Let's go back on the strand interpolator. Exhausting. This is exhausting. This is working fine. It's in here. That thing's good. Please let me move things. It's getting difficult. And again, it is the index, the issue. If we had a clean index from tip to toe, we'd be fine. We'd be fine. Why can't I use position? Wouldn't that... I mean... It also might work. Oh, mesh index. Mesh index. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? Interesting, but that's wrong because again, we can see right here, this one is out of order. So this mesh index here that we're looking at, as nice as it looks, is wrong. Where do we get that value actually? Let me go back up. It has to be in here, surface attributes, mesh index. So it's already wrong here, and that's just straight out of the geometry. Blender, geometry, actually, you know what? Use ChatGPT. I am using geometry nodes, and I want to reorder the indices based on the direction based on a vertex group. Vertex group weight. Use vertex weight proximity. vertex proximity. No. That's not a thing. You made that up. Attribute sort. It's probably an older node. Sort elements. The weight. I use the pin. What if I use pin? Still incorrect. No, well. You know, I take that back. That actually might be perfect because we then split it afterwards. So let me go back up into here, into here. And if we grab our geometry here, or no, separate. Okay. So once we separate it, you know, it gets out of order in that list before, but once we're separating it by island, it automatically gets put into the correct order. So let me go back, and if I could use the root instead, I would much prefer doing that because the pin might be a little bit. Up, over, down, separate. No, okay, so that's still out of order. That's out of order. But if I blurred it, it might actually work. So again, I would rather use the root. Rather use the root. I think it'll make more sense that way. Okay, so split. Bam. Blur attribute, let's say at least 3 times. And go back here. Here. Almost. Almost. Better. Still not correct though. You know, that might actually be because let me take a look at this. So if I go to the geometry and we go to weight paint. But definitely the sort elements node is what we want to use. If I go to the split hulls, we're blurring. It doesn't seem to quite do the trick. I don't know. Let's do it a few more times, I guess. Or maybe less. Let's just do it. Let's just try it twice. Just once. It's annoying hopping back and forth every time. Still incorrect. So if I go it does get more correct the more blurs I do though. It's gonna say 10. Fuck it. It's not perfect though. I mean, if I had a really long strand of hair, really long mesh, then it's still gonna break. So it can't be this. Can't be this. Um, okay. That's okay. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go back into our yeah, the split halls. That's what I wanted. I want to look a little bit closer at this edge path because sort elements, I know that I'm getting. Look that up. Shortest edge path. The weight for each edge. The remaining cost for an end vertex is reached by following next vertex, following index. The following vertex on the shortest path, every vertex to the closest endpoint. Read this. It does rearrange it, but not in the way I'd like. It's got, I think, an accumulate field node. I don't know exactly how that works, but I think that's what I'm looking for. Sort indices, sort indices, index, sort elements, shortest edge path. And a DAG. I don't know enough for that. It's funny because I know that I know the beginning and end. The beginning and end. If I could just make that a weight from 0 to 1, just those selections. So I have the bottom, I have the top. I just want to set a value for each point along that length, along that distance. So if it's gotta, okay, it has to be the accumulate field. Counts a running total of its input values in order to find by the geometry's indices. Value to be accumulated. Field. Oh, okay. I just had it. Um, There we go. That's all I was missing. I was just missing the index node. Okay. Jesus. Okay, but now we've sorted the elements based on this trailing object. So now, sorted. Where did my hair go? Oh, there it is. Where did that? Okay. Good. Now, when we take our geometry, we want to get sample the index. We want to get a vector for the position and feed in the whole index. So here we go. This would be, I think it was initially just like this. And then we mix it with this one. Oh, wow, that was exhausting. But we did it. We did do it. Did diddly done it. But now it's good. Now it's real good. Oh, my brain's tired. That genuinely, actually, really took it out of me. Okay, that feels so much better. Okay. Hello, Sky. Welcome. Whew. Okay. Brain Dunzo. Oh my god. But now I feel quite confident that we've actually set everything up correctly. We've just been debugging stuff this whole morning. And okay, well, moment of truth. No, still busted. Wow. This is correct. Really seems worth. Well, thank you. It's like some of the edges are just flipped. Thank you. It's almost perfect. These are no good, but we're getting very, very close. All right, 1 second, everyone. All right, I'm back. So something's still broken about these ones. But it's interesting because this one's fine. So I'm curious why this one not so fine. Should have. Edge. Let me turn off the vertex group for the solidify. Okay, we're still getting that bug, so that's good to know. Good to confirm. Subdivision? No, subdivision's fine. Should work with subdivision no matter what. Okay, so let's hop over to the air test again. I want to see if I can recreate this issue. Just to see what exactly, because this looks great. I don't. I would expect to see the issue here if it was going to keep happening. So I don't know why it's not. We should see it. Aha. Okay. We do see it. Darn, and it's the same issue. Excuse me. So the fix we came up with still didn't fix this. We can see right here that these tips are messed up. They're in the wrong spot. And that means what's happening is that when we're blending these strands together, position-wise, that the order of them is incorrect. Nothing's wrong with the weights. What this comes down to is how we are sorting the elements. So when we split it, we try to store or sort them based on the cost. So we're taking the total cost for each index. That's what we're saving. I wonder if we can do this one. Seems that we'll definitely want to use total cost. That gives us the most consistent results for everything else. Just happens to be this last little section here. Just makes me curious of how many mesh islands we have. I can see 14, 15, 16. Do a top view, it's a little bit easier to see. There's another number there, but I bet it's just more 15s. Four, 7, 8. Well, that's interesting. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why does it skip here? It's in order. No, it's not in order. 7, 8. Hello, Pablo. Welcome. We still have the tops. We still have the tops. They should be gone. Eyeballs. Wow. So we delete the faces. We still have the edges. That would explain a lot about why this is messing up. How about instead of deleting, we separate, then delete. So take a separate geometry right here. I'm making a Stewie character. Let's go. Let's go. So I'll separate this chunk here. Oh wait, I'm confusing myself. There we go. So we separate this, and the inverted we keep going with. And then we can join geometry after. Okay, which means no, I'm wrong. The delete was working fine. The reason I was confused is because of the visibility of the hair geo. If we go to split edges, we can definitely see that it's all gone. I'll come back later. I gotta do something. Sounds good. There we go. Okay. Now we're splitting again. Want to make hands for him. Nice. Catch these hands. Yeah, it's so close to working perfectly. So close. Okay, so that means that our split edges is working as expected. I didn't see any issue with that. Which means, once again, it is our strand interpolator. Right here, we can see it's getting flipped. Wish I could isolate just this island. That would be nice. Actually, that'd be interesting. What happens if I do? Is it just this island if I duplicate it? We go back and reconnect this. No. This works fine. So it's nothing to do something to do with the weights are the same. Weights are the same. So what is it about this corner in this issue? And it is its own island. That's interesting. What happens if I just move this around? It's pretty robust. I would expect that if it's just positioning or something for it to kind of tweak or change. Obviously, we can see that this is the undesirable behavior right there. So why that? I get rid of it, and it's completely gone from the rest of the strands. What happens if I close it up, bridge it? Bridge. It's fine. It's not fine when I extrude. And it's randomly not fine either. Sometimes it's fine, or at least most of it. Other time, not so much. I would expect my initial indice order to be the exact same every time. And it is. So, the roll of the dice? Why would it be random? Scroll to the bottom. Definitely didn't have this issue with the last one, so something about my accumulate field must be incorrect. It's different every time. Boom. Indice order is the same. The just to confirm, if I remove this sort elements, we see this same behavior. So it is directly related to sorting of our elements. Why don't we move this a little bit further back? I'm going to sort the elements after we do the island index, so I can sort them same way I'm doing now, just when I'm just doing the order, the time in my graph on when I did it. So if I now just extrude it again and again, again and again, seems fine. Okay. Oh my god, we did it. So it was when I was doing it that was the problem. Okay, that makes sense because I split the edges. That's what it was. Most likely, when I split the edges here, it reorders them in kind of a random way. So when I want to order them, I have to do it after I split the edges. So that's the key issue there. But it's weird because it mostly did it correct. Just sometimes it wouldn't. Very odd. Okay. So now the next question is that what the issue was with the punk haircut? Fucking finally. All right. There we go. There we go. Looks like everything's fixed now. We're back. I'm now back to the spot that I wanted to get to 4 hours ago. Nice. Okay. Backing up. And it's funny because I was basically doing it right. It's just the order is very important. Order is important. Order of operations. You have to think about what operation might be destructive to the flow. Okay. So now what I'm doing, we're going to make a backup copy. Start naming these. So 3. We're numbering these. New strand. Save. Okay. So this is going to look a little odd, but what we're doing, we're taking our geometry from here and here. We're going to lay it flat. I'm going to set it down over here. And you've already, now you see my secrets already. Because what we can do is sample the position, store it in the UV map. It should look a little bit clearer than this. So, very close to correct. I had it a lot clearer earlier. So we lay it out. Right. Yeah, strand interpreter v2. We're using the right one. And then we're getting the position afterwards and capturing it. That should work. I need to capture it. I could just put it right in. I set the, wait, what am I looking at right here? Oh, I don't think I have the right object selected. Okay, yeah, set position. Then we do the strand interpolator. Beautiful. Then we store the named attribute. Then we mesh the curve, resample. I can't see anything. We draw the material. There we go. Yeah, that's great. Oh, it gets fuzzy, of course, because we're duplicating. Gotcha. So if we wanted it to show up clear, we would need to turn up the strand count and turn down the duplicate count. But it is working. Sort of. It's working here. And then what we'd like to do is not actually store it in this one. We want to store it in our other one. We would like to take our geometry, bring it back, but then instead of storing it there, we're going to sample the index of this geometry here with a vector that is the position using the index and drop it in here. Yep. Okay. So now, if I turn this down, we turn up the strand amount, it should get clearer. As clear as it can. And it looks almost correct. It's much, much easier, much clearer here. And we can tell that it's not actually correct right there. So what is pushing? Oh, it's the frizz. Yeah. Okay. So again, we get the texture on there at the start. I think there have to be some creative solutions afterward to get it fully fixed, but all right. I think that's pretty cool. It's not perfect, but it will give anyone who wants to use it a ton of control over how the hair looks. All right. That was really hard. Oh, that was really challenging. A lot of it's just like, I was doing the right things, but not in the way that GeoNodes wanted me to. Not in the way they wanted me to. That was tricky. Whew. All right. Good stuff. All right, so another thing I wanted to try, before we just start packaging stuff up, was making a curve. Making a curve, say Bezier. Adding a GeoNode. there is some more stuff I'd like to figure out with this. I want to be able to fill up a volume of hair completely. Hair volume. Like if I make a tuft, like a flat tuft, that is what it is. But if I make a cylinder that has a top and bottom, I want to fill that inside with hair as well. So fill mesh volume with hair. Because that will make working on these so much simpler. Like that'll really make the difference, I think, in a lot of these. Was there something else it's going to do before that? Yes, we're going to see if I take a GeoNode and I bring in the hawk, which is technically a death hawk. It's not a, apparently it's not a mohawk. The sideburns make a big difference. But we take this, grab our curve, we put it in here, isolate the Bezier. So now we have this huge curve. We'd say set our spline type to Bezier. What happens if I apply this? Cannot apply constructive modifiers on a curve. Convert curve to mesh in order to apply. Gotcha. So I could instead just apply it. Sorry, delete that. Make a box. I'm going to turn it into geometry though. Well, there's two things you could do. You could turn it into geometry and then turn that geometry into a curve in order to manipulate it as a curve, which would be useful. Because then you could retain the attributes, which allow you to keep your material the same, but you can make edits to the mesh. So I do want to explore that because that would be an important part of a baking workflow. So make a cube, add a GeoNode, drop in the hawk, delete the original geometry, plug that in, cube, and if I apply this now, there's no mesh. So we do have to do a curve to mesh this. Can I apply it right away? Yes. Now we have a shit ton of points that I could then do object convert to curve. Dense, this might crash. Could crash. Wow, look at those handles. Now it's a Bezier curve. Okay, very useful. I will definitely want to highlight the fact that you can do this in but actually, think about that one more time. There should be a way to actually make it into a hair groom itself. But I don't really want a hair. go back. Back up a few steps. No, let's delete it. Okay. So we can turn it into a curve for sure. Very useful. No idea if it retained any of its vectors and stuff, but sorry, if I make this kind of curve, I have to have an object for it. I can make a fur though. I still need, okay, annoying. I don't know why you wouldn't just turn, oh, well, I do know why. Because if I make it geometry, then I lose the attributes. Do I though? I don't think I do. Because the attributes are not dependent on it being hair. So if, for example, we added on our big block here, if I make this into a curve or into a geometry, so I think I just have that curve to mesh. We do lose it. Or are we just not setting the material? Oh, let's go. Let's go. Okay, that's awesome. So all of those do get retained. You just have to make sure to reapply the material. Or better yet, I should get the material. Why not get a material from here? No. You can't extract the material from a mesh. Set material, material index. Set material. From here. And then I could say capture attribute. I can't capture material. Well, whatever. You just have to set it again. Not that bad. But that's really good because then when you're baking, you could go in and sculpt things. Actually sculpt your hairs into a UV island. That's like kind of a final step. Good. Geometry retains attributes. Of course, it's going to be crazy dense, like insanely dense, but it is doable. It is doable. I swear as well, there is a way to Blender. Blender what? Fake geo node here. Oh. Oh, interesting. Hmm. Not what I'm looking for, though. You're looking to make stuff, but my man, you're already cooking. My man is cooking. Welcome back, Ariso. Hello, hello. Oh, we're probably gonna go on lunch in just a second, but man, we figured out a lot here. Oh, my brain is definitely cooked. Wait, check it out. Yeah, we finally did what I wanted to do. So we can actually straight up add a UV texture to the hair now, or I can sample your UV's texture. Hello, Snardom. Welcome, welcome. So I'm pretty excited for that because this is gonna make it a lot easier to adjust things. Pretty stoked about that. I mean, it'll make painting hair so much easier. Yeah, it's a mohawk. And then, of course, you can still use all the other stuff. Oh, this is a mesh right now. I should turn that off. Thank you, Truck Jet. Hello, thank you, and welcome. Yeah, now you can add textures. You know, it gets fuzzy the more detail you add, but it would let you do a bunch of stuff. I mean, whatever you want. You can literally paint in whatever the heck you want onto your texture. And it doesn't matter because it's just using UV values. It's not displaying the color of the texture in the material. It's just a vector. No, it's not it. This one right here. It's just a vector for your mapping. So you get to use whatever you want. Swap out your texture anytime. In fact, I could do image editor, paint, new, test. Something like that. Yeah, cool. I don't really know where it is on the UV map though. So you're cooking in. So what you're cooking is new techniques for cooking, pretty much. Pretty much. here. It's just for Blender. Here's all right, but that certainly feels good. Man, that was really tough. That was probably the hardest geometry node stuff I've encountered yet. And of course, it's all physics. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Just super laggy because I've got a bunch of stuff on right now. But there's a little bit of Blender in your lag. Was it lagging the stream as well? So why can't we have real-time anything in games? Give me 1 million hair strands. Give them to me right now. Did I mention my system's procedural too? It's so thin. Okay. That's awesome. Very cool. Send it. You know what? It's already. I'm gonna end it a little bit early. I can feel my brain wandering already. Today I was talking to one of the teachers who will be picking up those Blender classes next year. He mentioned Blender. I was like, okay, let's go. I might have to kill with my enthusiasm trying to explain some of the things on how to use Blender. Well, good. Kill him with kindness. At least he has someone to reach out to if he encounters any problems or anything like that. But thank you everyone for hanging out with me this morning. I do got to get going. I've got to. I know that I'm not going to get any more work done in the next 15 minutes. But we did so much. We did so much. I'm so excited. I mean, this is really the most fully featured system I've ever made in my life. That's not an exaggeration either. And I can't wait. The end of today, we'll just be putting together promotional material, things like that, and showing off how cool this is. Been very good progress. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But thank you all for hanging out. I hope everyone's having a good Wednesday so far. Students, any students out there, we'll be seeing you in a few hours, 6 hours, for class. And we're going to be doing a lot of rigging today, so get excited for that. Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you, Snyder. Thank you. Enjoy lunch. I will. Gonna get my run in, get my grub on. We'll see you soon. For anyone new here, I'll be back in 2 hours for the second stream. See you then. Bye, everyone. Bye.